Hi there, this is Seemownay. I am finally back with another episode of my yarn talk. And I actually have a finished object that I need to look for because I am using it as a template in my current project. I finished the Milky chai socks, and it has been such a long time that I worked on these that I don't even remember the designer's name. I will definitely put the name of the pattern and the designer's name in the bottom of the corner, bottom left corner right there, and then you will be able to see and check it up. Most of them are in Ravelry. I know that there have been problems with accessibility for Ravelry. Luckily, I do not have those problems, but I don't really use Ravelry besides for my own documentation. So if you are interested in seeing my progress on any knitting, I always post the same photos that I add to my projects on Ravelry into my Instagram, and I usually write the same things. So if you want to follow me and my knitting journey, you do not have to use Ravelry for that. However, I agree with everybody else who is talking about that Ravelry needs to do something about this. Even if it is just concerning just a small part of the users, it's still not the right thing to do. Don't we all agree? Okay, so I have knit these. I restarted them again in January. I started those originally as 2 at a time socks on Magic Loop back in I think March of 2019, and then I never picked them up again. And then when I picked them up in January, my gauge had changed so tremendously that I frogged both, and then I knit 1 at a time on Magic Loop. This yarn is a commercial yarn. It is online, a German. Well, I purchased it in Germany. I don't really know if it's a German yarn company or where they're actually from, but it is their India colorway, and it's, as you can see, kind of self-striping. I really like the colors. Unfortunately, the pattern, especially the froth for the milk, doesn't really come through here, so I'm definitely going to knit those in a different color one more time just to be able to see the pattern. What I really liked is the heel. It's a flap and gusset with this, you probably know this better, there is a name for this heel. I don't know it. I really liked the way it worked up. It looks different than the one that I'm trying right now. And then I'm watching another podcast. It's Birch and Lily. I think her name is Amanda. I will link her in the description box below. And she talks about different kinds of toes and different kinds of heels. I'm not that kind of knitter. I just follow most of the time I just follow the pattern. If I'm knitting a pattern, if I'm using a vanilla sock, I usually just do the slip knit and knit 2 together every other row until I have 12 stitches or 6 stitches on each needle, and then I will Kitchener stitch the toe together. I don't know what that toe is called. Yes, so I really like that I do not have big holes in those socks, and I can't wait to wear them in the fall. This is definitely too warm right now, but finished project. And let me just move on, because this is the only finished project I have. Let me move on to the next project that I'm working on, my current project, and I will be working on this until it's done. I am at the toe of this is the Christmas Advent colorway from Must Stash Yarn. And I have knit these kind of like 2 at a time socks, however, on, what is happening here, on 2 sets of DPNs. So I usually would I would start with the cuffs, alternating, so knitting one cuff, then the next, then I would knit 2 colors on this sock, then I would knit 3 colors on this, then I would knit 2 colors on this, and then I would knit 2 colors on this. So I'm alternating and catching up, and then I would knit the heel first on the one sock, then on the second sock, and then again alternate the colors, and it really helps getting them done. So where I'm going to add the contrast color on both. I started, I have already decreased 2 stitches on this one, and once I'm done with the toe, I will finish this one. I hope this is what I'm doing this week, and then I'm done with this. I really love the idea of self-striping yarn, and I really was very excited about this one. However, I actually have to admit that I'm not too fond of the colors, and that they don't, well, they do repeat. So this is where the repeat starts again. So this is the same colors as they are in the beginning of the sock, but I mean, I will wear those, they are for me, but I do really appreciate colors that repeat more often. So here is this colorway or the sock, and you can see all the colors. I really like them. I just don't like them together for some reason. And I'm really happy that I chose this hardy brown. Let me see if it captures. It's kind of a grayish brown. Now let me think what this one is. I don't remember. It's another commercial yarn. It has lots of grip, and I hope that it will not wear out as easily. So I'm glad that I used this for the toes and heels. And yeah, I'm glad that I added this as some kind of toning down the colors, the crazy colors. I have this in this project bag that I made myself. The embroidery has been designed by a friend of mine, and she's embroidered this with her machine for me years ago, and last year I finally decided to use it, and I'm glad I did, because now I can appreciate the embroidery. And so this is the back side, and then there's big gingham, is that the word, in here. All right, so I am going to show you the things I have been working on during the past 4 months, but I have decided to retire, put them away, put them on hiatus until I'm ready to go back. I think the one that would probably interest you most if you saw the last episode is this Fantastitch shawl. This is how far I have come. I wasn't sure. I had one mohair that I wanted to use, but I didn't really like the colors, and so I added in, I think I added in the yellow. It's these two are actually both the yarn that I'm using are both from dyers. That one is in California, the other one was from Nevada. I think she moved to California during the pandemic. One is Bay Street Yarns and the other one is Nerdy Fibers. And I really like the colors, each one of them. I'm not sure if I like how colorful it is, but every time I add another color or the next part, I think, well, it works. It does. It is very, I need to concentrate a lot because most of the things that are in here are new to me. Most of the stitches, everything I'm doing is something new, and so I have to be there all the time, and that is actually the reason why I'm putting it aside right now. I just don't really want to use that much brain space. So yeah, even though it's such a tough knit, this part has come together really quickly, but I'm not feeling it right now, and so I decided to put it aside. And actually the next big thing that is coming is, if you know the Fantastic Shawl, is this V section, and it's really huge and I'm kind of intimidated by it, and so I decided next time when I'm like really itching to work on it, that would be a good time to start on that and work on it. And I have the yarn in this, I made it myself again in this one, and the current yarn that I'm knitting with, because I'm not knitting with all 6-7 colors that I need, is in here. It still fits in here, and so that's a good alternative instead of lugging this huge thing around with me. And then I also compared to the Fantastitch. The Fantastitch is a design by Stephen West, as well as this one. This is going to be the Vertex Unite. I'm still working on the very first part. I love the colors. I love the feel. This one is a seismic yarn. Is it kid silk or mohair? I will link the Ravelry pages, project pages, and which has all the yarn information. I will also put the link to each of the dyers, so you could check out their websites if Ravelry is a problem for you, to see what those are. I definitely know that I need to be prepared better next time when I film this. I hope you don't mind. So this is what the pattern or the shawl will look like once I'm done. And the last time I showed this to you, I was at this right here, and this is how much I added. It's super simple, and however, again, I'm putting it aside. I really have a problem. That's another thing why I actually put away my Find Your Fate shawl. I really have a problem with the designers that create elite designs that require tons of yarn, different, very expensive yarn. There's never an alternative, cheaper yarn as an option. They're like a shawl knit from 2 skeins is a lot more affordable and accessible for everyone than a shawl that uses 6 skeins. Even though it doesn't use them all up, the investment that you have to make is still there, and so it's not as accessible. And I'm cross, and so I'm not enjoying knitting on those right now, and so I'm just going to put them away. So that's why I'm putting this one away as well. Same besides the Fanta stitch is exactly the same. I know it's a huge shawl and you will need a lot of yardage, but then still it's lots of colors, and not everyone is fortunate enough to be able to use that many colors. And this pattern then, especially when you use the recommended yarn, is going to cost $200 plus, which I just don't really understand. So when I was going through all of my projects, I did that yesterday. I looked in each of the bags. I still have some that I didn't pull out of the hibernation status, but what I did was I have started this. There's not much here. This is the toe up sock. It's the Stump Town pattern by Shannon Squire, and I can't really talk much about how I like the pattern, how I like the knit, because this is how far I got. The last time I got this far, I got a bit further and then I frogged it because I noticed that it was going to be too big. I'm not really, like, I look at this and I'm like, no, I'm not going to pull it out. And so I decided I'm going to frog it. I'm going to put this aside. And if I ever want to start it again, this is not a big loss, but I'm not going to leave this in my whips hibernation pile, because I would rather knit some other socks. Which, once my socks that I showed you, in the self-striping ones that I showed you in the beginning, are done, I'm going to cast on these. They're also self-striping. This is Luna Pearl yarn. Again, I will link them in the description box below. I can't wait. I have seen lots of her posts recently and I'm super itching to cast on. I don't know if I'm going to use any contrasting yarn. I don't know if I have any. I think it was a pink one from Bay Street Yarns that I could combine with this. But since I still have the toes left on the other one, I am going to make that decision when I'm casting on this. But this is the next cast on that I'm going to work on. And now let me show the projects that I pulled for the next month maybe, that I want to work on. I have been working on this. This is the Colorful Keepsake Shawl by Tina Say, and it is already pretty big. I'm not sure if, so this little stitch marker is on here. Maybe this is the last progress that I showed on camera last time. I have made lots of progress. I worked on this all the way through the knit along, and then I put it aside for a while. The last time I showed it on probably Instagram was right when I was right here, and then I added the lace pattern, which I actually made a mistake. This section right here, the pearl stitches shouldn't be there. I decided I wasn't going to frog it once I noticed it. I just kept on working this pattern repeat or lace repeat in pearl stitches, not pearl. Well, what is this? What is this actually called? When it's right. In German, you would say it's rechte Maschen. This is kraus rechts and this is glatt rechts. So just like knit stitches all along, back and forth. So I decided to just keep on going with this all through the lace repeat, and then once the next lace started, I was going back to the pattern. And I mean, it's not in the middle, it's a bit further down, but it doesn't really show that much. I mean, you can see it, but you will only see that this is not intended if you're going to compare it with another one that is right next to you. And so I think in the big picture, I didn't lose any stitches. I didn't do anything that would mess up the stitch count. So I decided to just give myself grace for this. I really like how the colors and the pattern is working up. It is not very bold, and maybe that's the problem that I have with the Fantastitch. It's very bold, even though the colors are neutral, more neutral. There's brown, there's orange, they're bold, which makes the whole shawl going to be bold. And this one isn't. So I really looking forward to working on this more. And since I'm this far into the shawl, I'm inspired to work on it. Again, I really like what Tina has to say on her Instagram. I really like the way she conveys herself, her ideas, everything that she posts resonates with me. So I am excited to work on this. That's just how I roll. I really do with anything. If scrapbooking supplies, everything, if you and your company ethics resonate with me, I'm more likely to buy and I'm more likely to work with your stuff. If you don't, then I'm not buying, or if I possess it, I'm just not really feeling it in that moment. And same with knitting pattern. I feel it's even more personal with these kinds of things like knitting and sewing, embroidery, all those things that you make with your hands, because it's just, you spend so much time with this. Maybe that's why I'm choosing the projects in that way right now. And so yeah, I'm keeping this project bag. It was made by my friend Tina. I say that all the time because I don't really have that many projects. Well, I do, but I don't have many projects bags made by other people. And I really, really love it. I love having a project in there at all times because it's just so nice to use it and work with it. It's very similar to this one from Nerd Bird Makery. I think that's her name. And yeah, so they both really are high up in my status, and I really want to make more like those. Then the next one, I didn't even put needles on this yet. I need to check where my five needles are. I put it together like this. I have it on a cable. This is the, I don't even remember the name, Second Avenue wrap by Amy Miller. And this is the very first project that I actually started when I was coming back to knitting. I went out, again, it's another one of those shawls. I went out and purchased 5 or even 6 skeins of yarn to make this shawl. And then I started, after I purchased it, I'm like, wow, what a commitment, and what a statement, right? To be able to purchase 6 skeins of yarn without batting your eye. So again, but I really would like to finish this. I love the colors that I chose. I want to see what it looks like when it's done. It's gonna be really easy. This is the lace pattern. It's just yarn overs. I hope you can actually see this. Let me hold it up again. So I'm gonna work on this yellow section. It has little holes in it. I know now how that works, and so it's gonna be hopefully fairly easy. And I would like to just make a dent and continue a bit further. And then I also pulled out my scrubby yarn. I have 2 different colors. The pink and neon orange here, like the color changing one is not as neon-y as the orange. And then I have this. I am holding 2 strands together and just crocheting like a circle and then decreasing it again. There is a free pattern online that I used for this. Again, I have a project page on Ravelry where it's linked, so if you are interested to find it, check there. Again, I will put the link to the website, if there is one, in the description so it's more accessible. But I want to make another dish scrubby because ours is really roughed up, and yeah, so I thought, well, I could definitely do that in July and maybe the beginning of August. And I think that is all I wanted to share with you right now. Since this is 26 minutes, I'm going to stop here. I had some notes on things I wanted to talk about, but I think what I'm going to do is move them. I want to do more, like maybe bi-weekly, keep you more up to date, interact more with you, and then since I won't have as much to show, I will be able to talk about all of those topics in more detail. I hope that brought you up to date. I am really excited on working on the projects that I chose for the next, I don't know how long, until I'm getting sick of them, and then I'm gonna reevaluate again. I can't wait to finish the 2nd pair of socks this week, so that's really exciting. And I hope whatever you enjoy doing, that you have the time and find some time every day, every week, so that you can replenish your soul and create. Until I see you again, have a great time. Bye.